Okay, here we are at 339 and 337 Wayne Drive in Fairborn, Ohio. This is a brick duplex, a little over 1,600 square feet. This is the neighborhood view. So each unit is 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, also include a basement, so plenty of storage, plenty of options, with yards in the back as well. So from the exterior, it's a brick exterior that's usually less maintenance, which is a pretty good thing. The roof looks fairly new. That's actually a pretty, if it looks like the type of roof I'm thinking about, which is called Art Lock, which is a local company that kind of patented that. If it's the same kind, that is a highly durable alternative to the 3-dimensional roofs that you see out there. Typically they can, they're classified as classified 4, which is basically the best classification you can get for a roof. It withstands basically hailstorm damage and winds. And but this is the backyard, and a nice decent backyard. Again, it's brick all throughout, and that is the neighbor over there. Yeah, one thing that's interesting about this roof is that they are interwoven on all 4 sides. So typically how regular like 3-dimensional or 3-tab, multi-dimensional or 3-tab roofs are laid, they're laid by strips at the bottom, and then they just keep laying strips over top of the previous strip all the way till you get to the top. So these ones are actually interlocked. They interlock with each one of them. So a little bit longer to put on in that element, but what the benefit it is that you can't get wind to actually blow them up. So you'll have like a strip of 3-tab shingles, but usually if you get a little bit of a gust of wind, it might flap the shingle up, and that's what happens. If it happens over time, then you'll break the tabs themselves. So asphalt gets a little brittle over time, and that's they won't be flexible, and when they start to flap around and everything, it'll just break right off. And you'll see that where they just come right off the top. Some roofs, you might see that they'll actually be missing tiles. You can actually see that over there a little bit on that roof. It's missing some tiles because of that design. You won't see that on these types of roofs. So that's a good roof. If it's the type I'm thinking, it's called Art Lock. Sort of a regional local company. But anyway, this is the front. You do have some deterioration right here. So the front, which is usually what's known as parging, is completely missing right off the bottom of this slab up here. So there's really nothing right here to there. It just goes straight to the cinder block underlayment. So that's missing. I'm not exactly sure why that would happen. That usually takes quite a bit of force to happen, but it can be fixed. And so definitely some flaking on the windows. Windows are definitely older. I'd estimate they're at least 20 years old. They probably don't have to be replaced, but they definitely are discoloring, just like you get that oxidation from plastic, that's what you'll kind of see there. Some of this even looks like it might be grease. I don't know if there was a grease fire at some point. Hard to say really what that might be, but you see that typically above stoves, kind of like that. Looks like it's on this one a little bit too. It could be some sort of spray protectant or something like that, but something that I would definitely want an inspector to kind of look at. But overall, they did a good job. The flooring's new, painting and all that's new. These are the modern colors and everything that people are looking for. Flooring here actually does feel like that plastic. It's kind of like a plastic tile to mimic your ceramic tiles, and it is actually grouted in between them. So it's not the bare minimum, the cheapest type, but it is kind of a mid-grade, I'd say. maybe a below mid-grade, slightly below mid-grade. So this is the kitchen. So some cabinets in here, 2 windows, kind of a little area you'd probably put a little table or something like that, you know, to eat in, dine in, kitchen option. That is the side door to the side of the house. This other door is to the basement, which we'll go down in a second. But one thing to note, there's no hood, you know, in here, so there's nothing to vent the air out from cooking, and that could actually explain some of the, you know, the discolorations in the windows. It's potentially what it is. It's hard to really guess, but it looks like those cabinets are newer. The sink and everything looks a little bit older. The hardware looks newer. The sink itself might be a little bit older. The countertop is just your laminate countertop. Cheapest variety. It has a good pattern on it though. It kind of makes it look nicer. So that's kind of nice. And so you have a bedroom upstairs and then a bedroom downstairs. So this is the downstairs bedroom. You probably could fit a queen in here. It'd be very, very tight to fit anything else. It'd probably be better as a full or a twin in here if you're going to put like a bedroom set or something like that. There is a walk-in closet though, so that's a good feature to have. And the carpet again is new all throughout, so that's kind of nice. And then they did some, you know, some hardware replacements. As you can see right here, those are not original. The doors do look like they're original. So, you know, they upgraded where they probably is appropriate, you know, for the price point and everything. Here's the bathroom. So that is an updated vanity, updated, you know, pedestal, not a pedestal, but a cabinet with the built-in sink right there. Fixtures are newer, and looks like a newer insert as well. So probably not brand new, maybe 5 years or something. And you do have the luxury vinyl plank in here, and it does appear to be the waterproof type. Actually, let me check it. This actually might be a sheet. I don't know if that is actually the planks. It looks like it might be just a complete sheet, but it looks good. It's a good pattern, and it fooled me for a second there, so it's pretty good. There's a closet. So you have actually 2 closets. You have, this is probably your coat closet versus your linen closet, you know, where you would put your linens or your bath towels and that kind of stuff. So again, carpet new up here as well. This is the upstairs. And the upstairs is basically just a bedroom. They converted it. Could have been a attic space potentially, I don't know. It might have been always built as to be a bedroom, you know, so it doesn't really add a whole lot of space if you look at it from an appraisal perspective. Obviously I do appraisals as well. I used to anyway. But you normally go at 5 feet, you know, so anything below 5 feet you don't count. So 5 feet's probably right about here. You can, you know, square footage, just drop that point all the way to the floor, and the square footage from that point over is what you would count for an appraisal purpose. So it's similar to that concept. So it's not everything would be counted. Everything under here, under that point, I believe it's 5 feet, would not be counted as square footage. But if you put a bed under here or something like that, that would maximize the square footage everywhere else, because you can walk where it's higher point to give you more space for walkability. You know, and a lot of that is due to safety as well, so you're not hitting your head if there's a fire or something like that. Here's a walk-in closet over here. There's some storage there. I actually can't open that door because it's caught on the carpet. But it's a nice space. This would actually make a nice bedroom. It's a good size. You could definitely fit a king in here with plenty of room for a set, maybe even like, you know, a lounging chair or something like that. So kind of nice area there. And then finally, we'll go into the basement. And I did check the basement a little bit earlier, and the basement was dry from what I saw. We'll do a quicker, we'll do a more in-depth look, instead of the quick just perusal I did a little bit earlier. So, all right, so this is the basement. They did actually do the, water resistant paint here. So they did that all the way around. It looks like it's fairly new. That's what you want to do for a basement. This looks like it is slabs of concrete, which is good. You don't want, typically you don't want like brick, especially. They don't make brick. It's been probably 100+ years since they made brick foundations, but probably 200 years. But the next one, I'd say that's almost as bad as cinder block. Cinder block is usually not good. You do have multiple points of access from the outside to get moisture intrusion. But in here, you have basically slabs of poured concrete, which is really good. So they just kind of layer them on top of each other. Just really long slabs of poured concrete is what it looks like anyway. And that's a little bit better. Generally, the more solid the surface, the better. So there were some interconnection points, and that potentially could, have water intrusion through those points, if it's what I'm thinking. And that's the problem with brick and also cinder block, where you have too many points of access from the outside with moisture. But it looks like a very solid basement. I don't see any real remnants of moisture, which is really good. And over time you would have to expect there's going to be moisture intrusion in the basement. And typically what you can tell is like in here, so you would see water stains and that kind of stuff. It does appear maybe right here, there might have been some water at some point seeping in. It's possible that might have been at some point moisture intrusion on the other side, but I don't see any active mold. It's a little dark here. Obviously get your inspector to kind of look at that and see if there's any issues. One thing to note too, so this is a 1947 build. And it does looks like it's upgraded or modernized electrical, so that's pretty good. And here's your panel. Looks like it's a 100 amp service. This house is, you're talking about 800 square feet on this one side. I'm assuming that this panel just does the one side, which would make sense in this duplex. And 100 amps is probably good enough for a 2-bedroom 800. But, we definitely are a consumable culture now with all kinds of electronics and stuff that'll overload the systems. Typically, people want the 200 amp service, but with an 800 square foot house, it's probably okay with 100 amp. I would say. Consult the electrician, see what they say. Might have been, looks like that. They put this little strip of wood on here to kind of cover up the window. I'm guessing that's what that is. I was kind of looking for some wood rot, coming from the exterior, but I don't really see it there. So that actually looks pretty good for the most part. This board, I'm not sure what's going on. There might have been an issue at some point with something drilled to the exterior potentially. They redid it. That's something to look at. Looks like that's probably an alarm of some sort, or maybe telephone, old school telephone wiring. But anyway, this, overall, I'd say it looks pretty good for a 1947 build. Looks like fairly newer HVAC. The water heater definitely looks older though. So the water heater, I don't see a date on it. I like to try to find a date. Yeah, not seeing the date. But it looks older. I'd say this is probably close to 20 years old. 15 to 20 maybe. And then the actual HVAC looks probably, I'd say it's probably about the same. It's probably about 20 years. See if I can see a date on it. And sometimes you can look at the actual serial numbers, and the serial numbers, look them up and you'll get the date from that. If you just look it up online, or the model number, you would get a general idea. It's probably about 20 years old, maybe more. Okay, so that is pretty much the whole property. If you have any other questions, have any additional requests about it, just let me know. Rentability, you know, it's in Fairborn, decent location, close to base, close to the university. You know, so the one unit that is rented next to this, we didn't go into because it is actually being rented right now, is rented at $720 a month. And this one they're projecting could go at $995. I think it's a little high. It does have newer elements. I'd say it's probably closer to 9 maybe. But you never hurts to try. So maybe list it for $999 or whatever, and then see what kind of bites you get from the market, and then you know, go from there. If it's not getting too many hits, then just drop the price to appropriate. But I would say it's probably somewhere in between $859, something like that, for 2-bedroom, 1-bath in this area. So, all right, if you have any questions, anything else, let me know. Howie with Home Experts Realty, and also Better Mortgage. I do mortgage lending as well. I think I told you that, but just let me know. All right, signing off. Thanks. Bye.